In the back of the book segment tonight, the Democratic freakout over Donald Trump. The party of Pelosi is trying to block every initiative President Trump wants to institute, but will that backfire? Joining us now from Washington, Kelly Riddell, a Washington Times columnist, and from New York, Jeannie Zaino, a political science professor from Iona College. So, Jeannie, it's more than obstruction, it seems to me. It's more of just abdicating their responsibilities. You have people not going to the inauguration, boycotting it. They're not showing up for votes, not showing up for hearings. They're doing everything they can to delegitimize the president. They're coming out against the Supreme Court nominee before they even know who it is, trying to stop them in their tracks. Now they're planning on borking this guy. It gets to a point where they're just not doing their job. And after years and years of saying the Republicans are the party of no, now the Democrats are doing the exact same thing, but it seems like even worse.
Well, I would politely disagree. I don't see it as them being obstructionists. I actually see it as them doing their job. If you look at the latest polls, the president is doing many things that the American public, and Democrats in particular, find to be wildly unpopular and un-American and unconstitutional. So the Democrats, well, for instance, instituting the ban on 7 predominantly Muslim countries, for example. That is something that
Jeannie,
about 60% of Americans
the majority of the
with.
people agree with. No, according to the latest Rasmussen poll, 57% of likely voters agree with the temporary travel ban.
According to the latest
Kelly,
Gallup poll, about 60% disagree.
Okay, well, listen, you know what the polls said at the election? They were all wrong, so let's throw the polls away. Kelly, tell me, midterm elections are coming up in 2 years, and in the Senate, we could see a supermajority if the Republicans do well in states they're expected to do, because the Democrat senator seats, those are in some of the red states that Trump won. If they continue to obstruct and yell and scream and name call, they're in real trouble in these next midterms. Do you agree with me or not?
I definitely agree with you. Listen, there's 25 seats up for grabs for Democrats in the Senate, only 8 up for grabs that are Republican seats. If you narrow that down, 10 of those 25 seats are from states where Donald Trump won. If you whittle that down even more, 5 of them are from states in the Midwest, in flyover country, Indiana, West Virginia, Missouri, North Dakota. Places where Pelosi politics, Keith Ellison, the progressive left, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren, that type of policies just aren't palatable. These are places that need jobs returned to them. They want their national security insured, and they voted for Donald Trump because of these reasons. They want job growth, they want the economy back on track, and they want to be protected. And if Democrats don't get on board with infrastructure spend, if they don't get on board with Trump's agenda, then they'll be held liable.
No, there's a lot of things I think the Democrats can get on board with. And, you know, you have infrastructure, you have health care, you have trade. But, Jeannie, let me ask you something. Kelly just mentioned a few names. You have Pelosi and crying Chuck Schumer now as the face of the party. And not only that, you have people like Madonna saying she wants to blow up the White House, and Sarah Silverman, this comedian or something, saying that we need a coup to take down Trump. These faces of the party are really hurting the brand. And the more and more you have these radicals out there as the face of the party, the middle of the country, especially in the Rust Belt, the states that Trump stole away from the Democrats, I mean, they're at real risk of creating a real fissure in the party and doing extreme damage to the brand.
Well, you know, the face of the Democratic Party to me, and I am not a Democratic operative by any stretch of the imagination, but the face of the Democratic Party are also the millions of women and men that you saw out there marching the Saturday after the inauguration day. And those were very peaceful marches for issues that many people care about.
Listen, I agree, and there were so many women out there, and it was a great sight to see, but the people on stage, the face of it, the people that had all the TV cameras on them saying things like Trump is Hitler, that's not good.
No, I agree with you, that's not good, but I would also suggest that the Democratic Party, I agree, it has a ways to grow, and that's absolutely true. But, you know, it is coming up from the bottom, whereas the Republican Party seems to be coming from the top down at this point. You see the Democratic Party in the position of growing from the bottom up, and that is a good place for a party to be.
I don't think it's a top-down, bottom-up issue. I think it's an issue of people obstructing and not reaching across the aisle. I think that's what the country wants.